The hospital corridors were loud, but inside Ethan's mind, everything was unbearably quiet. That he paced outside the treatment room, every heartbeat echoing with regret. His son, his child, 6 years old, 6 years he could never get back. The glass door finally slid open, and a doctor stepped out. His fracture is clean. We've treated it. He'll be fine, she said. Ethan exhaled a breath that felt centuries long, but the relief didn't last, because Riley walked out next. Her eyes were red, her hands were trembling, but her face was stronger than steel. Can we talk? Ethan asked quietly. No, she said. Not here. She brushed past him, but Ethan gently placed a hand on the wall, blocking her path, never touching her, just preventing her escape. Riley, please. 6 years. I deserve to know something. Oh, now you deserve something, she whispered, hurt dripping from every word. He lowered his head. You're right. I don't deserve anything. But Noah does. If he's my son, if... Riley's voice cracked. Look at him, Ethan. He is you. Tears filled her eyes. But where were you when I needed you? When I was alone? When I found out I was pregnant, when I couldn't even afford vitamins, where were you? Ethan swallowed hard. My mother was dying. I panicked. I shut down. I didn't know how to balance you and her, and instead of talking to me, Riley cut in, you vanished. Her voice broke into painful pieces. You left me thinking I wasn't enough, and then I was pregnant. I tried calling, your number was changed. I emailed, it bounced. I went to your office, your security didn't let me in without an appointment, which I didn't have because you disappeared. Ethan froze. That he had no idea his assistant had cut off all contacts during the crisis. He had never checked. He had never questioned it. He was drowning in grief and fear, but that didn't change the pain he caused. I'm sorry, Ethan whispered. Riley looked up, tears running silently. Sorry doesn't change what Noah went through. What I went through. Ethan's throat tightened. Let me fix it, he said. You can't fix 6 years, she whispered, but you can be here now. The air between them softened, just slightly, and for the first time, Riley didn't walk away. Noah was sitting on the hospital bed, hugging a small stuffed lion. His big gray eyes, Ethan's eyes, looked up as Riley entered. Mommy, it hurts a little. She kissed his forehead. I know, baby. You're so brave. Then Noah noticed Ethan behind her. He studied the billionaire with innocent curiosity. Mommy, who is he? Riley froze. Ethan stepped forward slowly, kneeling on one knee so he wouldn't tower over the child. My name is Ethan, he said gently. I know your mom from a long time ago. Noah blinked. You have the same eyes as me, he said, tilting his head. Ethan's heart shattered. Riley turned away, covering her trembling lips. Do I? Ethan whispered. Yeah, Noah said. Mommy says my daddy had eyes like mine too. Ethan's breath trembled. Riley closed her eyes tightly. Noah continued, softly, are you my daddy? The room froze. Riley gasped, tears spilling instantly. Ethan's world collapsed and rebuilt in one heartbeat. He swallowed, voice cracking as he whispered, yes. I am. Noah blinked once, then twice, then he held out his small, bandaged hand. You came back for me? Ethan's tears finally fell. I didn't know you existed, he whispered. But now that I do. I'm not leaving. Ever again. Noah smiled, a small, innocent smile that burned through every regret Ethan carried. He gently wrapped his tiny hand around Ethan's fingers, and just like that, 6 years of emptiness were replaced with something Ethan thought he'd never feel again, family. Riley turned around slowly, watching the two hands intertwined. Something inside her softened. Ethan looked up at her with helpless sincerity. Let me try, he whispered. Riley didn't answer, but she didn't say no. The next morning, Ethan drove Riley and Noah home, not to a mansion, not to a penthouse, but to their small, humble apartment. Ethan stood in the living room, stunned by the simplicity. No toys except one. No luxuries. No signs of the life he always imagined giving a child. It crushed him. Riley, you did all this alone? He asked. She nodded quietly. You were gone. And Noah needed me. He walked over and picked up a drawing on the table, a crayon picture of a little boy holding the hand of a faceless tall man. The title said, "My Dad When He Comes Back." Ethan had to sit down. Noah peeked from the doorway. "Do you like my drawing?" "It's perfect," Ethan said, wiping his eyes. Riley watched the moment unfold with a softness Ethan hadn't seen in years. She whispered, "You really want to be in his life?" Ethan rose to his feet and faced her fully. "I want to be in both of your lives. Whatever it takes. I won't rush you. I won't push you. But I'm not disappearing again. Not from him. Not from you." Riley looked down, her voice trembled. "Ethan. I'm still hurt. I know. And I don't trust easily anymore. I'll earn it. And I won't marry someone who leaves again. I'm not that man anymore." Silence held the room, then Noah ran between them, giggling as he hugged both their legs. Riley looked at Ethan, Ethan looked at Riley, and for the first time in 6 years, they smiled at each other, not as ex-lovers, not as former strangers, but as two parents who finally found the missing piece of their story. A story that wasn't ending. A story that was finally beginning. And outside the window, as sunlight poured into the small apartment, it felt like forgiveness, like healing, like home. 6 years after disappearing from everyone he loved, including the woman who once wore his ring, the billionaire Ethan Hale stepped into the ER for a business donation, and froze, because there, standing in the harsh fluorescent light, was Riley, his ex-fiancée, the woman he left without a goodbye. But that wasn't the part that shattered him. She wasn't alone. Next to her stood a little boy, 6 years old at most, crying softly, his arm bandaged, blood still on his shirt. The boy looked up at Ethan, with Ethan's eyes, the same storm gray shade, the same shape, the same trembling confusion. Ethan's heart stopped. Riley's lips parted, fear flashing across her face as she whispered the words that ripped his world open. "Ethan, this is your son." And in that moment, the billionaire who thought he had everything, realized he had lost the only thing that ever truly mattered. Ethan Hale was a name the world bowed to. A self-made billionaire by 32, owner of tech empires, private jets, skyscrapers, but none of that mattered when he met Riley, the girl with paint on her jeans, sunlight in her smile, and the ability to make his world feel warm for the first time in decades. They were engaged within a year. They were happy, but life doesn't let happiness last without testing it. Ethan's mother fell critically ill. The doctors said she needed world-class treatment overseas. Immediately, Ethan spiraled. The fear of losing the only parent he had left consumed him. PTSD from his childhood resurfaced. He shut everyone out, including Riley. When she begged him to talk, he couldn't. When she cried, he withdrew. And then, one night, overwhelmed by guilt, fear, and a darkness he didn't understand, he left. No note. No goodbye. No explanation. He simply disappeared into a world of hospitals, responsibilities, and emotional numbness. He told himself it was for the best. He told himself Riley would move on. He told himself he didn't deserve love when he couldn't even save the people he cared about. 6 years passed. His mother recovered, his businesses soared, but the emptiness in his chest remained, a hollow space shaped exactly like the woman he abandoned, and the life he never realized he left behind. The ER was crowded that night, crying children, frantic parents, nurses rushing in and out. Ethan wasn't supposed to be there long, just a short meeting to finalize a donation. But fate had other plans. He heard a familiar voice first, soft, gentle, yet trembling with panic. "Please, someone, his arm is getting worse, he needs help." He turned, and everything inside him died and was reborn in one breath. Riley. Her hair was shorter now, her eyes carried exhaustion, her clothes were simple, paint-stained, still an artist, and the little boy tugging her sleeve had Ethan's eyes. "Riley?" Ethan whispered, stepping forward. Her body stiffened instantly. She turned around slowly, disbelief flooding her face. "Ethan. No, it can't be." But it was. He saw the fear in her eyes, the anger, the heartbreak that still lived beneath her skin. Then the boy whimpered, holding his injured arm. Riley knelt. "It's okay, baby. Mommy's here." The word hit Ethan like a punch. Mommy. She was a mother. His gaze flicked to the boy again. 6 years old. 6 years since Ethan left. His breath caught. "Riley, who is he?" Ethan asked, voice barely functioning. She held the boy closer, her lips trembled. "Ethan, this is Noah." She swallowed. My son. Ethan's heart stalled, his voice broke. How old is he? Riley closed her eyes. 6. The floor vanished beneath him, the air disappeared, his vision blurred. He took one shaking step toward them. Riley, tell me. Please. Is he? Her eyes finally met his, and with a shaky, shattered whisper, she said the words that destroyed him. Yes, Ethan. He's yours. The sound of those 3 words hit him harder than any corporate war, any loss, any trauma he had ever survived. He wanted to reach out. To say something, anything, but before he could speak, Noah winced in pain, tears spilling over. Riley hugged him immediately. He needs treatment. Please, just let me help him first. And Ethan, whose power could move mountains, felt helpless for the first time in his life. He stepped aside as doctors rushed Noah inside. Riley followed, not even glancing back. Ethan stood motionless in the hallway. A billionaire surrounded by glass walls and polished floors, yet feeling like the poorest man alive. The son he never knew existed was behind those doors, the woman he abandoned was crying inside, and he had no idea if either of them would ever let him in again.